It is my privilege to introduce Dr. Ranjana Pal, who is an accomplished ecologist and conservation biologist dedicated to understanding mammalian ecology and advocating for their conservation. She holds a PhD in wildlife science from the Wildlife Institute of India and is currently a postdoctoral research fellow at the Wildlife and Wildland Conservation Lab at the Brigham Young University with a master's degree in biodiversity and conservation from GGSIP University in Delhi. She has spent over a decade studying species distribution, ecological interactions, and human wildlife conflict across India, particularly in the Himalayan region. Her research focuses on population ecology, landscape ecology, and the human dimensions of wildlife management, emphasizing the ecological and anthropogenic drivers influencing species distribution. She has worked extensively on carnivores such as elephants, rhinos, tigers, 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 and actively engages in conservation initiatives aimed at preserving biodiversity and improving ecological sustainability. Her work has strengthened conservation planning efforts and provided valuable insights into species interactions across diverse environmental conditions, ensuring a more informed approach to safeguarding vulnerable ecosystems. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Ranjana Pal. Well, over to you, ma'am.
Hi, good morning again. Sorry. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. It's truly a pleasure to be here today talking about snow leopard. Can Tapaji sir, can you confirm if you can see my slides?
Yes, these are visible.
All right. So I've
Please
been
go to
told
the please go to the
yes,
full screen mode.
it is full screen right now.
No, no.
Or maybe it's taking some time to upload. Wait, can you see it? Um,
It's not full screen yet.
what? How are like how is it visible to you? Like a presenter mode?
We can see your slides and notes also.
All right. How do I change that?
You can try presenting again.
I've done that twice already.
No, no.
Okay.
Stop presenting now. Stop presenting now. Try it once again.
Stop sharing. Okay. Let me share it again. Is it better now, Tapaji sir?
It's the same view. What you can do, you can zoom in. If there is animation, then there will be problem. Otherwise, it's okay.
All right.
Are you sharing your entire screen?
Yes.
It should happen.
Let me do that again one more time. Sorry. Oh, I have to choose entire screen. Got
Yes,
it.
you have to share entire screen.
Is it better now?
Yes, it
All
is.
right. Let's start.
Just click on that stop hide button. Just click on that hide button. Yes. Now go.
All right. Okay. So without delaying it further, I'm going to start with my talk. I've been told that I have around 40 minutes to talk about snow leopards and why they matter, not just for high mountains of Asia, but for all of us. So I've planned my today's talk in the following sequence. I'll start with the general introduction about snow leopards. What exactly is a snow leopard? and why should we care and why conserve them. Then I'll move to talk about what is being done globally to protect them. Lastly, I'll touch upon some of our work and how our week are contributing to this mission. So let's talk about snow leopard. For a very long time, snow leopards were seen more in myths than in science. And that's the reason why they are also known as mountain ghost. They live where humans struggles to survive, in oxygen scarce, rugged terrain with freezing temperature, and where winds can which can slice through you like a blade. In ancient folklore, snow leopards were symbols of strength, secrecy, and spirituality. Watchers of mountains, known as seen by few and known by fewer. These landscapes are not just stunning, but are some of the harshest landscapes on planet Earth. They are generally characterized by glacial fed valleys, alpine meadows, and barren cold deserts. Generally, the elevation of these areas are about 300 meters. I'm now imagining surviving in such conditions. You would need some serious upgrades. And snow leopards are the evolutionary masterpiece of such adaptation. For one, their wide nasal cavity warms the frigid airs before it reaches their lung. Their limb proportions are built for chase, strong muscular, with flexible ankles that allow them to leap, climb, grapple prey many times of their size. Their tail, which can be up to 90% of the length of their body, act like a counterbalance while leaping between rocks and also wraps around the body of warmth for warmth while resting. Even their blood is high tech, packed with red blood cells and hemoglobin to survive in low oxygen environment of high altitude. But perhaps the most iconic adaptation is their camouflage. Their pale gray spotted coats are not just beautiful, they make them nearly invisible. And my talk would be incomplete without playing Spot the Snow Leopard game. So here is a picture where there is a snow leopard. I can confirm that. It is stalking its prey and it's very close to its prey. Well, the prey here are possibly based on the smell, but they have not yet seen the snow leopard. So I'll give you a few seconds to spot the snow leopard. Well, let me help you with this. There it is. Completely blending in, waiting for the right moment to strike. Let's try again. This is a very special photograph. This was taken in 2022, where I, for the first time after working on snow leopards for 5 years, saw them with my own eyes. I still get goosebumps thinking about it. So there is a snow leopard in this photo. Can you spot it? This image was taken by my colleague and it captures perfectly why snow leopards are so hard to see and easy to miss, even when they are right in front of us. So let me help you with this. This is the snow leopard. And this exemplifies their adaptation of camouflaging so well to their environment that they are known as mountain ghosts. Let's talk about their distribution. They are found in high altitude mountain ranges of Asia, spanning across 12 countries. Despite their remote habitat, snow leopards are far from untouched by human activities. They face multiple overlapping threats, including retaliatory killing when they prey on livestock and communities strike back, poaching driven by illegal trade of skin and body parts, habitat degradation as human settlement, mining infrastructure, defense infrastructure, in particular in case of India, expands into their range. Lastly, the new upcoming or emerging threat is the increasing number of free-ranging dogs in the landscape, which is partially contributed by increasing human population in the landscape and the garbage and tourism. And looming above all these is the climate change. No region in the world is untouched by climate change. However, the impact on mountains are far greater than any other ecosystem. Studies across the Himalaya and Central Asia show that glaciers are retreating at a very rapid rate. Snowfall patterns are changing and snow lines are shifting. As the snow disappears from these habitats, the fragile ecosystems of snow leopards will change, with the potentially devastating consequences for snow leopards, the co-occurring biodiversity, and it would be foolish to think that the humans will remain untouched by these impacts. So, this brings me to my next question of today: why conserve them? Why go through so much trouble? To answer this, let me bring up a classical ecological story: the reintroduction of wolf to Yellowstone National Park. After wolves were eradicated, elk population exploded. The elk overgrazed the vegetation, which affected not just plant life, but the birds, insects, and even rivers. So, hence, the government started an initiative to reintroduce the wolves in the landscape. When the wolves were reintroduced, balance were restored. This is what ecologists call as trophic cascade, one predator influencing the entire ecosystem. Snow leopard serves a similar role in high mountains of Asia. They keep the wild herbivore population like blue sheep and ibex in check, which in turn protects the fragile alpine vegetation. They are not just majestic animals, they are keystone species, essential to the structure and function of these ecosystems. You can think of them as a top brick of an arc. Remove them and the whole structure risks collapsing. And the risks are not limited to biodiversity in this landscape, but the humans that depends on it. The high altitude habitat of snow leopard, particularly across the Himalayan range, are more than just stunning landscape and rare wildlife. They are headwaters of 10 major river systems in Asia, sustaining fisheries, industries, agriculture, and human settlement across the continent. These landscapes provide critical ecosystem services such as crop and livestock support, pest control, pollination, and water regulation, and many more. These services can be broadly classified as supporting, regulating, and provisioning. And for these reasons, these mountains are aptly referred as cradle of life and water. And snow leopard, being an apex predator for this landscape, is a symbol of or indicator of the health of these mountain ecosystem. Let me give you another example from our home country, which is of River Ganga. So, River Ganga originates from Gangotri Glacier, which is also a long-term monitoring site of our project here at WII. More than 600 million people in India, just under the half of country's entire population, and all of Nepal population lives in Ganga basin, as do millions in Bangladesh. The sheer scale and social dynamic of Ganges River Basin makes it one of the most complex in the world. So you can imagine the people who depends on the Ganga River, and the origin of this river Ganga is the prime snow leopard habitat in our country. I hope with these examples you can see the importance of snow leopard habitats and why it is important to conserve them. So, given the transboundary nature of its existence, the snow leopard requires a unified conservation effort by all the snow leopard range countries to ensure its survival. We all know how the relationship among these countries, such as India, Pakistan, China, Afghanistan, and others, are. It is crucial that we think about snow leopard and its ecosystem beyond these conflicting issues. In October 2013, the 12 snow leopard range countries came together and signed the historical Bishkek Declaration, endorsing the need to go beyond protected area and conduct snow leopard conservation effort at the landscape scale. It is an exemplary convention where all these countries, despite their border conflicts, came together for the conservation of snow leopard. Global Snow Leopard and Ecosystem Protection Program, also known as GSLEP, is the result of this declaration, where all the snow leopard range countries agree with the support from stakeholders and interested organizations to work together to identify and secure snow leopard landscape. India is an important signatory to the Bishkek Declaration. However, the country's conservation effort started much before they signed this declaration. Snow leopard received the highest level of legal protection under Schedule 1 of India's Protection Act 1972. With 57 protected areas, around 34% of snow leopard Indian range is under legal protection. Well, snow leopard are not the only one using this landscape. There are a lot of people in these landscapes which depend on natural resources. Hence, India largely follow an inclusive participatory approach where conservation models are developed at landscape scale. For example, there are 6 secure big landscape, one project snow leopard landscape, and there are few more in making, 4 biosphere reserve that has been dedicated to the conservation of the environment and the snow leopard in the landscape. These overlapping landscape, which include many protected areas, now cover close to 58% of snow leopard range in India. It is optimistic that the various categories of conservation landscape and protected areas now cover most of the extent of snow leopard range in our country. Let's talk about the status of knowledge. India has a long, compared to any other country, India has a long history of natural history records of snow leopards. However, earlier it was mostly confined to few areas, for example, Ladakh and Spiti in Himachal Pradesh. But in past few years, research efforts have expanded and have gained remarkable momentum. Since 2016, there has been a significant increase in research coverage. You can see how in just 5 years, cover orange, which indicates an area with low knowledge, have reduced so much. Today, we have preliminary information for about 80% of the range, snow leopard range. And a major milestone that was achieved in 2023 when India completed its first national-wide snow leopard population assessment. This milestone was achieved because of the joint effort of MOFCC, State Forest Department, and the various organization institution that supported the State Forest Department with the exercise. Wildlife Institute of India was the coordinating agency. State Forest Department and the conservation organization carried these exercises to various states. Here I'm showing an example of state where I was involved in the process, which is Uttarakhand state. In the first step, we assess the gradient of snow leopard density using a method called occupancy analysis, where the sampling was done using questionnaire surveys. So this initial step helped us establish a clear understanding of snow leopard occurrence pattern across the landscape. So the grids that you're seeing here on the right side of the screen, the dark one represents as the areas which are the prime snow leopard habitat, whereas the lighter gradients are comparatively less, have the less probability of occurrence of snow leopard. So to ensure that our sampling is unbiased and covers the entire gradient of snow leopard habitats in the state, we did this first step. And following this, once we have the information of snow leopard, the gradient of snow leopard occurrence, we strategically sampled areas representing all the gradients. This ensured that the subsequent density estimate accounted for the full range of habitat type and diverse abiotic and biotic conditions, providing a comprehensive and representative assessment of snow leopard population. Similarly, snow leopard densities were generated for the entire range of our country, where the estimate is 718. Let's talk about some of my work and my team here at the Wildlife Institute India, and how are we contributing to the global effort of conserving them. We've been trying to understand the ecology of snow leopard in one of our long-term monitoring site under National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem project. Dr. S. Satyakumar, who is a faculty here, has been leading the mammal component of the project. So for this, we have been monitoring snow leopard and their habitat since 2015. Our sampling included summer season, where landscape has seasonal livestock, herders, and among these animals, such as brown bear, marmots, and bharals are found. However, the landscape changes drastically with the season. In winters, the landscape is completely transformed. There is a snow everywhere, and a lot of animals such as bears and marmots are hibernate. And snow leopard and its prey such as bharals are pushed to come to lower valleys because of the snow. And if you want to have a good chance of seeing a snow leopard and these prey, I would suggest you should visit this landscape in winters, if only you can survive the biting cold in the landscape. So this has been our journey for almost 10 years now. So in the initial stage of project, we were interested to understand how snow leopard space use vary with dynamic seasonal condition. where other than habitat condition because of snow and human use of the landscape changes. In summers, there is a huge expansion of humans in the landscape due to livestock grazing practices, tourism, trekking, whereas in winters, it's mostly the animals there and a little bit presence of the paramilitary forces and some of the local people. So the map on your screen shows the spatial density of snow leopard in these two seasons. You can see the difference of the dark brown points between these two seasons. So our result shows that the snow leopard habitat use in the landscape gets very restricted in summer because of the human expansion in the landscape. For this, instead of using the conventional Euclidean distance method, we use the ecological distance method, which account for the rugged terrain and improves the density estimation. So this was one of the upgrade that we did in our study for understanding snow leopards. This technique not only help us in robust estimation of spatial density, but also help identify the connectivity zones critical for conservation planning. So the map you're seeing now shows the connectivity for male and female snow leopards in the landscape. And if I have to prioritize few areas for the conservation of snow leopard in landscape, I would focus on the dark red uh, pixels, which represent the areas that are most conducive for snow leopard in the landscape and ensures the connectivity between different protected areas and outside protected areas in the landscape. So this was one of the key management outcome from our study. Now coming to another important aspect of snow leopard conservation, which is to understand the status of prey. Uh, the snow leopard occurrence in any landscape is directly proportional to the presence or occurrence of its prey species in the area. However, understanding the status of prey remains a major challenge for researchers and managers due to lack of reliable method because of the terrain, the ruggedness of the terrain, and some of the prey species such as musk deer, which are nocturnal. So a lot of the conventional method do not work in this landscape and for the prey species. So for this, we tried camera trap based distance sampling method, which is a slight modification of conventional distance sampling, which is a commonly used method for other prey species in other habitats. The basic requirement for the method include randomly placing camera traps in the snow leopard habitats, ensuring unbiased sampling, estimating the distance at which the prey species will travel to avoid conflict, and we are currently working on some of the ways to deal with this issue. Now, another key aspect of our research focus on interaction of snow leopard to co-occurring predators. Wolves are the main competitors for prey resource in trans-Himalayan landscape, whereas snow leopard habitat use overlap with common leopard in the subalpine and alpine habitat. The competition between these predators can be sensitive to change in ecological conditions, be it because of climate change or human influences. So to understand this dynamic between these predators, we studied the spatial dynamic over season, where summer represents a condition where there is enough space for all the predators because of less snow, and there is more prey availability due to presence of lot of livestock in the landscape. Whereas winter represent an condition where there is a restriction on space use because there is snow availability. Since livestock leave the landscape, there is less prey availability. So everywhere area to coexist. And did the analysis to understand how these predators coexist between these two dynamic conditions. The analysis for wolf and snow leopard shows that there is a high overlap for their diet. So they both share the same prey resources in the landscape. However, we did not find any evidence of competitive interaction between wolf and snow leopard. I hope you know that the wolf usually are found or they prefer the flat and plateau landscape, whereas snow leopard usually prefer the rugged terrains, probably to avoid wolf. So based on these two preferences, these species coexist in the landscape, and we did not record any competitive interaction between these two predators. In case of common leopard and snow leopard, we again found a similar diet both in summer and winter. However, the common leopard were found to negatively influence the space use of snow leopard in winter. In summer, where there is enough space and prey, there is no competitive interaction between between snow leopard and common leopard. Whereas in winters, when there is less livestock, less space due to too much snow, these two predators interact, where common leopard can negatively influence or can displace snow leopards from its habitat. Well, these findings have a lot of highlights what could happen in future when there is less space for predators to coexist. Climate change and habitat shift are predicted to increase the spatial overlap between snow leopard and common leopard. In such scenarios, wolves and snow leopard may coexist in topographically diverse landscape, where there is rugged and plateau landscape for both to coexist. However, shift in tree line might lead to severe conflict as common leopard can displace snow leopards from its habitat. So these are just the preliminary findings. We are currently working. We have been monitoring these predator for almost 8-9 years now, and probably will have more evidences to support these findings in future. Free-ranging dog, like other parts of Indian Himalayan region, is a major issue in our study area as well. Here you can see a dog that was captured at 500-meter elevation in our study area. We have recorded dogs' attack on wildlife in the region, and we are currently working with Forest Department and local authorities to find an effective solution to this issue. Well, the main cause for increase in feral dog is largely due to human supplementation and careless disposal of garbage. So we are working on these grounds, and hopefully the situation will be better in future. Well, despite all these progress, it is still sometimes feels like we are just scratching the surface of snow leopard ecology. Our research and other similar efforts in other areas have revealed surprising patterns, such as with more recent studies focusing in the middle elevation habitat in the Himalayan region, we have found low elevation sightings of snow leopard, which highlights the need to better understand the habitat use across the altitudinal gradient, across the dynamic seasonal condition, and how snow leopard shifts or do they perform altitudinal migration due to snow and other thing, and how understanding of these aspects is crucial for designing a protected area or management studies. We have also recorded the first case of keratoconjunctivitis, which is an eye infection in Bharal, where large number of Bharal died in Gangotri landscape because of this infection. So far, this has occurred only once, and which makes us wonder what abiotic and biotic condition predispose Bharal to these disease outbreak, and we are closely monitoring the situation. We also confirmed the occurrence of woolly flying squirrel, which is one of the least known mammals and is also the largest gliding mammal, is known as the largest gliding mammal. This was once considered extinct until its rediscovery in Pakistan in 1994. We have confirmed the presence of woolly flying squirrel in Upper Bhagirathi Basin, and it was also found to be part of snow leopard diets. So, in addition to that, the record of woolly flying squirrel at 4,800 meter, the picture that you're seeing at the bottom here, is where the woolly flying squirrel was captured, and this is remains the highest known occurrence record of any squirrel in the world. Additionally, we were shocked to see the presence of some of the low elevation species at 4,500-meter elevation, along with snow leopards and wolves. Scientists have long been anticipating that there will be a shift of species to high elevation from low elevation due to climate change. So we are closely monitoring this situation. We have recorded, not just us, there are other organizations, for example, Nature Conservation Foundation have also found the presence of rhesus macaque and snow leopard habitats. There is a need to understand what causes these shift and if the terrain complexity or seasonal condition has any contribution to these unusual encounters at high elevation. In addition to several organizations such as WWF and Nature Conservation Foundation are working for securing the snow leopard future in India. One of the main contribution by these organizations is a substantial increase in socio-ecological and human dimension research in snow leopards, especially in the multi-use landscape where people and snow leopards share the same landscape. Such studies include the role of traditional ecological knowledge and institution, contemporary changes in pastoral society, effect of state policies on range and management, and in-depth understanding of human-wildlife relationship. So these studies are crucial for understanding or designing uh, conservation strategies for snow leopard because people and snow leopard have been part of these landscape for centuries, and it's important that we facilitate the coexistence between them and securing future of each other. To conclude, I can say this with confidence that we are at a very optimistic state where we are demystifying the enigma of snow leopards and its landscape. However, we are far from understanding it completely. Some knowledge gap to overcome includes information on demographic patterns, for example, population dynamic, snow leopard diet, spatial information on prey, and disease ecology and climate change. Before I close, I'd like to share a quote from my favorite author, Dr. Josh Scheller. It is a quote that also fits aptly to today's theme. For reports to come, the peaks will still pierce the lonely vistas. But when the last snow leopard has stalked among the crags, and the last markhor has stood on promontory, his ruff waving in the breeze, a spark of life will have gone, turning the mountains into stone of silence. This quote reminds us that these landscapes would become stone of silence without snow leopards. But I'm very optimistic about snow leopards and future of these landscapes, given all the work that is being done by government and organization. With that, I finish my talk, and all the work that I have shared today is published and is available online. And we can talk more about this during the questionnaire, or please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions regarding any of the things that I discussed today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjana. Now the floor is open for questions.
I would stop sharing. Okay.
You can directly ask here or write in the chat box. I have a question.
Yes, Napajit sir.
Is there anything this kind of work happening in Arunachal Pradesh?
Um, So, a part of the National Mission Sustaining Himalayan Project, 2 years back, the work started in Kameng Basin, uh, which is where the famous Sila Pass and Dirang is. So, a researcher named Shagun Thakur is doing her PhD in this landscape, and they have captured snow leopards and other high altitude animals in the landscape, and they are trying to understand or replicate the same work in that basin.
Okay, good news that is. Any more questions?
I guess not.
Okay. If there is no more question, then thank you, Dr. Ranjana, for this
Thank
wonderful
you.
talk.
Thank you, Tapajit sir.
Nice to see all this landscape after so many years. And we have uh, plenty of time left with us. So for the participants, I will announce that we will again meet at 12 noon sharp to begin our technical session 4, where there are many presentations. So for this time, this is a break. Please join us at 12 p.m. Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. Ranjana, for
Okay.
joining us for
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.